They won an award there. On the back page, John Mensah wades into a pure draw Safo saga. The Daily Graphic this morning says military bus explosive producer seizes 20,000 pieces, and you find foreigners and some local folks there. The military police and some soldiers right there. Also, telcos remove unregistered SIM cards from database today. Chamber heads of mass disconnections. Today we are drowning in information but starved from knowledge. That's the Access to Credible Information campaign by the Graphic. Managed diabetes as epidemic, according to an expert. Supreme newspaper says election 2024, it's possible for Bawumia to break the 8. John Kuma is Deputy Minister for Finance. Former MX24 TV news anchor, Bass First Class Overall, Best Journalism student at Unimark. Also, street lighting dilemma. If conventional solution won't work, let's innovate, according to Abronye. DRC team in Ghana to understudy NPA's fuel marking program, and fall in inflation rates. No need to reduce prices, run into capital losses. Tag to retailers. What do you have there, William?
The Guinean Times this morning, it says it's the most authoritative newspaper in Ghana. Efforts towards IMF support. Ghana completes prior actions and ends global applause for economic recovery program. Use research to address country's development challenges. That's according to Education Minister Dr. Educhum. Please brief families on investigations into death of riot victim robbery suspect at Nkranza, and government not doing another round of debt exchange program. That's according to the finance minister. On the back page of the Ghanaian Times, Ghanaians, that's sports. Legon Cities overcome Kutuku Royals. Ouattara scores brace in Brekum Chelsea win over Asante Kotoko, my team. Aduana Stars Western Olympics plight Olibubu in trouble out there.
Only that day.
BNFT, Business and Financial Times, CSO back increased sin taxes. And these are sin taxes. Well, let me see what the sin taxes are standing for. The Ghana Non-Communicable Diseases Alliance, a coalition of civil society organizations, has welcomed the imposition of excise duty on products classified as unhealthy and harmful to humans, saying this will save government millions through the National Health Insurance Scheme. So the sin taxes are those that are on products that have been unhealthy and harmful to humans. We also have $3 million reconstructed Nkrumah Mausoleum opens in June.
Right.
And stock market exchange sees movement in first quarter limited. It means we have only 22 out of the 38 stocks experience no price movements. They are stuck. First quarter.
Just like that.
Development Bank of Ghana secures $70 million for credit guarantee scheme. And on the back page of the BNFT, businesses must leverage innovation, strategic partnerships for growth. That's according to experts at BFT Agribusiness and Leadership Training. That will do for BNFT.
The Ghanaian Observer this morning says Bawumia markets Ghana's digitization revolution at Harvard. Says Africa's partnership in the fourth industrial revolution must be based on data transparent systems. Government to meet bondholders committee over outstanding payment. Well, the bondholders say they never agreed to a committee to meet in camera and all of that. And government has been unfair to them. Gold mafia ignored the spurious allegations. Akufo-Addo's lawyer, that's called Suman, says the president hasn't been in private practice since year 2000, and global community commends Ghana. Well, the new publisher says it's a female chief justice. Her ladyship Justice Gertrude Tokonu has been tipped to become our next chief justice after Justice Kwesi Anini-Boa. SHS boys forced to sleep in toilets. GES suspends the headmaster. CSA Chamber of Telecommunications collaborate on cybersecurity regulations. Safari again is on the front page. The Anchor newspaper says McDan and wife again. What have they done? As anger boils over reserved zone land at East Legon Housing Ministry others have been petitioned. And cash-strapped Health Ministry bans staff not to use the elevator. Government consoles Golden Star Resources Minister, assures corporates will be punished. GES sacrifices Ganasco headmasters over own incompetence. And why should York Gary now be called Gobe? Ayiko doesn't like the idea at all.
But the yoga Gary, is it a gun food? I don't think so, because beans there is there nothing.
No, but the nomenclature.
Oh, my
Even they ever call it York Gary.
That's about the beans. Is it gun?
Yeah, yours beans.
But the beans, is it found here?
No, but you see, you can't.
And nobody can put the name. I listened to the interview.
Right.
I don't understand him.
Right. But his own focus is that we seem to be losing.
Yeah, of course. I listen to
some of the things that when like Agbile Kaklu.
Yeah, but Agbile is cassava is water.
Right. And Kaklu. Now people don't call it Agbile Kaklu again. People have all manner of slangs for.
But the government we've registered it.
No,
so lawyers will chill small.
Gary.
The government next year is Gobe, Charlie. Anyway, they find out this morning. It is possible for NPP to win election 2024 with Dr. Baumia. That's according to John Kuma. Paris Club to meet on Ghana's request this week, and ECG recovers 2.5 billion Ghana city debt from customers. That's according to the MD. SIM card database breach avoidable if real-time verification was done via the NIA's database. We also have in Kranza, police update families of riot death victims on outcome of investigations. That's on the front page of the Finder this morning.
Okay, the Republic Press says Chairman's mocks NDC MPs, calls them zombies. Pensioners strike again. They have intention to strike again if they are not paid by the close of the month. Mahama weeps over incompetent tag, and NPA makes U-turn over FMM increment from 4 pesos to 9 pesos. Boundary Commission calls for joint efforts to demarcate Ghana-Ivory Coast borders. That's Major General, my good friend, I've forgotten the name immediately. Baumia may have the resources, but delegates will respect MPP tradition. According to Aiko, towards the tradition, it says Ireland must win. The custodian newspaper is the final one. I have their Parliament petition to cage Mahama. Mr. Ken A.J. Crunchy, managing editor of the Daily Searchlight, is on the front page there. Also, Baumia is NPP's voice of hope. John Kuma, Netco chases customers to retrieve 1.2 billion Ghana cedis. Safari is also on the front page. Mahama targets are not done press seat. That's what we have here on the front page of the dailies. William, where do we begin?
IMF.
IMF.
Or Ganasco.
IMF would not be a bad idea. I mean, because we'll have Ganasco later on the show. Let's just take on IMF. So we're back. We're back at talking about whether or not we're going to get a deal anytime soon. The IMF boss or managing director is very confident that because of the way things are going, and he says that because of the proactiveness of Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta, we may just get a deal very, very soon. That may be a sigh of relief for government, particularly because they have looked forward to this. But again, if you go out into town, the question people continue to ask is, when is the apology going to be rendered to Ghanaians? Because that was a key thing to let people trust that, look, our government says we will not go to the IMF. Now, I had Mr. Opon Nkrumah speaking from the meetings that are presently ongoing, and he seems to have taken a different turn because he was the key architect of the town hall meetings that were being held. He seems to have taken a different turn altogether, trying to not explain to us, what has caused the delay and why we don't have the deal now and where we are, how we are close to getting the deal. But he was one of the people who also told us that we were not going to the IMF. I think it's only fair that we should be able to eat an humble pie and apologize and say, look, we didn't get it right. We are sorry. we're going to the IMF. It takes nothing away from the government, I think.
Well, I mean, that apology, quite frankly, I don't see it coming. And then secondly, the fact that we say we wouldn't go to IMF is neither here nor there, because we are there now. I mean, they say we're not going to go, we are there. But the question I want to ask is the government going to be swollen-headed by the comments from the IMF boss? Because we've heard a lot of some of these praises from the international financial organizations over the years. They said they'll come together and say, oh, your economy is doing well, or the economy is doing well. Then, after a few years, we go back to the same people to beg for money. Now we're even begging. To the point that now they direct us what to do. When our inflation is so high, they've asked us to push out some taxes, and we've done that. So at the end of the day, what I'm saying to the government is that, look, beyond the IMF talks, if we should get it, what are we going to do to turn the economy around? That's where the conversation should be. Because at the end of the day, if today, 2023, we are going to get IMF 3 billion, which is something negligible in terms of what Ghana needs to turn the economy around for me. What are we going to do to make sure that we don't go there again? As to what the IMF boss will say or would not say, if anybody in government is going to get excited by that, it's their own issue.
Yes, and I agree with you on that, because you see, look at the speed with which the IMF came to us when that phone call was made by the president. I mean, they rushed in because they know that, look, for as long as they keep you within their corner, they will be fine. I mean, literally. So the IMF is always excited, and all those who lend money to us are excited because they know it doesn't come for free, and you would have to pay something, or something has to give.
Even this year, they even increase the interest rates on the monies that they lend out. You know, so that the IMF conversation, and the bondholders are today asking again that the government should be straight with them, pay
their monies.
Yes, pay their monies, because at the end of the day, if you are doing this debt exchange, it's not if you like a mandatory request.
Right.
They said no, we will not do this way. So
we don't want your voluntary thing.
So at the end of the day, if we have agreed to pay us, just let's have our money. So I don't know how else we have to talk about this. You know,
let's listen to President Akufo-Addo with President Macron some time ago, talking tough. Sana AB spices.
I hope that the comments I'm about to make will not offend the questioner too much and some people around here. I think there is a fundamental misstatement of the issue in the question. We can no longer continue to make policy for ourselves, in our country, in our region, in our continent, on the basis of whatever support the Western world or France or the European Union can give us. It will not work. It has not worked, and it will not work. Our responsibility is to charter a path which is about how we can develop our nations ourselves. It is not right for a country like Ghana, 60 years after independence, to still have its health and education budgets being financed on the basis of the generosity and charity of European taxpayers. By now, we should be able to finance our basic needs ourselves. And if we're going to look at the next 60 years as a period of transition, a period whereby we can stand on our own feet, our perspective has not to be what the French taxpayer decides to do with whatever surpluses that they have in France. They're welcome. They're appreciated. Whatever interventions that the French taxpayer through their governments make to us are appreciated. We're not going to lick a gift horse in the mouth. But this continent, and with all that has happened, is still today the repository of at least 30% of the most important minerals of the world. It is a continent of vast, arable and fertile lands. It has the youngest population of any of the continents in the world. So it has the energy and the dynamism. We have seen it. These young men who are showing so much resilience and ingenuity in crossing the Sahara, finding ways to go across with rickety boats across the Mediterranean to really, those energies, we want to have those energies working inside our countries. And we're going to have those energies working in our countries if we begin to build systems that tell the young people of our country that their hopes, their opportunity are right here with us.
3FM Sunrise.
That was President Akufo-Addo William.
I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, it is just an expansion of what I said earlier.
Yes.
What he said was
This was 5 years ago.
That's what I'm saying. It's just a repetition of what I said. But I'm saying that, look, governance is not just words. It's action. Governance is not just
non-verbal.
It's not just knowledge. It is application of the knowledge. If you know what to do and you don't do it, you have done nothing. I mean, us coming to say we know. I mean, all that he told me in this tip is just that he knows what to do.
Right.
But the evidence on the ground doesn't show that we are doing what we know best to do. So at the end of the day, as a country, we should also begin to look at the action of individuals rather than what they exhibit themselves to know. So that at least we can move one step ahead of the conversations that we have had over the years. I've said, look, these issues that lead the discussions every morning. I mean, Chief, if you go back since 1957,
we've been talking about
go and look at the press cuttings.
Same.
Go to
archives.
Go to archives. All the radio stations. Look, mosquitoes. And the fact that we should clear our environment so that the new breed doesn't hit us hard. The areas that we are talking about, the same areas. Same big base,
Glefe, Jatakpo,
and these are
Pambros,
very close to the coastline,
yeah.
And how they keep the place. Go there this morning. So I'm asking myself, what action are we taking as a people to move away from these same conversations? This IMF conversation, how many times have we been there? How many times are we going to go there in the future? So sometimes the discussions become just monotonous. It is action that we need. You are talking about charting your own path or charting your own course as a continent or as a country. That means you have to cut your coat according to the size of your cloth.
Right.
You don't have to rush to do everything in 4 years. It's not possible. It is not. You have to be realistic. Do what you can, and when somebody else comes, they continue. Then the debt will go down so that we can also feel easy a bit as individuals or as citizens.
There's a story on page 4 of the Anchor newspaper. I paid 1 million Ghana cedis for the Deputy Speaker of Parliament to join NPP MPs to form Majority Caucus. That's according to Kennedy Japan. So MP Fomina, Mr. Siama, lawyer Siama, he was giving 1 million Ghana cedis according to Kennedy Japan. Says the Member of Parliament for Asin Central Kennedy Japan has disclosed the vital role he played for his party, the New Patriotic Party, to form the Majority Caucus of the 8th Parliament of Ghana. Kennedy Japan, an MPP presidential hopeful, narrated that the party needed the MP for Fomina, Andrew Esiama Mwako, who is an independent MP, to join their side in Parliament so that they will become the majority in the House. And we all know what the implications of being the majority in the House, so that you can get your things through. Speaking to delegates of the MPP in Tema, Kennedy Japan said that he took his intervention and his 1 million cedis for the condition given by Mr. Siama Mwako, who is now the second Deputy Speaker of Parliament to be met with in the House. So it appeared that the chairman of Fomina, so this is the record. I spoke to Adansi Fomina, MPP chairman, and he told me that he would have resigned, but a rural bank he owes 1.5 million would take him to court if he's no longer the chairman of the party in the constituency, he said. So the man had to fork out 1 million just to get MP for Fomina on their side, to get the chairman for Adansi Fomina to resign, because that was the condition. You know that ahead of the 2020 election, the MP and the chairman were not on the same wavelength. The president even went there and said, look, don't do business with this man, because so it had to take that decision to bring him on there. Then the question is it a corrupt activity, or is it just a party enabler? Because if what Ghanaians voted for is 137 on the NDC side, 137 on the MPP side, and 1 independent, that's proper hang parliament. So then the independent MP would have then decided that, okay, on the matter of, say, e-levy, I don't agree with it, so I won't sit with the majority, or I won't sit with the MPP. I'll sit with the NDC so that we vote against it. On the matter of the 3 revenue bills that have been recently passed, okay, I won't sit with the NDC because we are in dire straits now as a country. I'll sit with the MPP. But now we have been told that some 1 million went somewhere, which is why constantly he's doing business with the majority side. And that for me is quite disappointing. You raised the question about we wanting to do everything within a short while. This 1 million is an enabler to making sure that whatever it is that we intention to do, we should do and we can do.
Okay, so the question is it bribery? Is it lobbying? Is it an enabler? Whatever word you put on, it is what the gentleman stood for as an independent candidate. But we also know that he didn't from the beginning stand out as an independent candidate. It was circumstances that led him that way because he was a die-in-the-wool NPP candidate until issues came up and he decided to step aside.
Right.
But the same Mr. Kennedy Japan came out to say that he had paid some money to get Adwoa Safo.
Yes, that's 24. Yeah, of course. Yes.
He even mentioned the
former Speaker of Parliament.
Chief of Staff.
Yes, that
if my information is right, that some monies had to be moved.
No, that was in relation to. So he said that he went to support Adwoa Safo, Adwoa Safo in that election.
Yes. He mentioned money
because he had been called by former Speaker of Parliament Michael Quay that he should support his son Gabo Mike Okwei Jr. And then he said that, look, this is the mother of my children.
Yes.
And so I would support the mother of my children. So he went in there. There was money.
Yes.
That influenced the campaign and he won.
Yes.
But that 24, we're not sure if it's $1,000 or 1,000 cedis, was when Adwoa Safo was not appearing in Parliament and was out there in the US. They had to arrange a plane to bring her in, first of all. And then when she came, she refused to turn up in Parliament, according to Mr. Japan. And that was money from the Chief of Staff.
You see, so all these monies is still
plenty
what I'm talking about. There was money to the delegates when Okwei called and said, look, I would rather support the mother of my children. Money went. The second instance, money went. So in politicking, money always moves. You know, but do we describe it as lobbying or bribery? Because we know that in this country we had a very top general secretary who said to us that you have to fear delegates. That statement, if you break it down, tells me that some monies had been given to some delegates who still failed to vote. So, I mean, when it comes to party politics and the way money moves around, it's become an issue where people have even suggested that the state should fund political parties. But this particular instance, the gentleman who stood as independent candidate and won,
Isiama,
yes, who is now our second deputy. I mean, did he take the money so that he would do what he's doing today?
Well,
and is he delivering on his call? It's something that's, I mean...
Well, but he has not come out officially to respond.
Yes.
But you know, this was Mr. Kennedy Japan speaking to delegates in Tema.
And we know that Ken, when he gives,
sure to canvass
he will talk. When he gives, he will talk.
So don't collect.
You know, so if he gives, he will talk. So at the end of the day, he said he has given, and I have no reason to doubt that he gave. Because all the instances that he has mentioned that he gave, nobody has come to challenge him. And you see, this is what is going on. You see, that's why young people want to go into politics. Because they know, somebody knows that he won't win. But because of his popularity, he will go to some constituency. People do it, constituency, and go and put his picture around, independent candidate. Then one party will call him and say, Charlie. Then we'll start him. It happens. So I'm saying that if politics has become an avenue for making money overnight, that's what we are going to get. And it's so bad. Because I'm saying this because the majority leader has come to say the quality of people we have in parliament is now even being affected by the way they get there.
That's right.
He said it. I didn't say it.
That's right. That's right.
The caliber,
the
quality, the submissions that they make.
That's true.
Because now, if I have some little name somewhere, and I have much more money to push, I'll get there.
You are in parliament.
But how is the discourse in parliament, the submissions in parliament, the work in parliament? Because look, we have volumes of documents put before them.
Through, yeah.
They just vote yeah. They don't scrutinize them. That's how come we've had a lot of decisions taken, and Parliament has come back sometimes to apologize.
But this, William, this is a very serious matter. Number one, Deputy Speaker of Parliament. Number two, independent candidate. Number three, money swapped hands so he could join the governing NPP to do business. We all know how, for some strange reason, even though we have what looks like a hung parliament, each time a certain tax or a certain something that the totality of the population or a large majority of the population say, we don't agree. Like e-levy is a critical example of this. E-levy, a Japa deal. All of those ones, we know how when people say, Charlie, this one, dear, it's not good. It's not good. Don't go for it. We know how suddenly the majority side is full, the minority side is full, and then because we know that the numbers are one above the other, no, speaker says, oh, you have won. Secret ballot. So the question now comes up, where is the integrity?
You know, I'm laughing. I'm laughing because these monies, they have so many names. These monies that change hands around politics.
The political table.
Exactly, especially when it's within the political party. It has so many names, and when it is within parliament, is it money that they are using to lobby the MPs? Are they bribing them? Because we have a number of instances where we've heard, and these MPs have not come to deny since PC appeal for his time.
But what is bribery?
That's the point. You see,
if you take money to do something
which is not supposed to be done,
yes,
or even if you are supposed to do the thing, you take money for it. But you see, bribery is a criminal thing.
The giver and the taker.
Yes, it's a criminal thing. So until we report to the police for people to be prosecuted successfully and then sentenced, it will just become talk. Because you see, in parliamentary
shouldn't the
discourse,
police, for example, be interested in saying, Mr. Japan, you have not made just this comment. You have made a comment about 1 million to influence what happens in parliament. You have made a comment about 24,000, but not, and again, I'm not sure if it's dollars or cedis, to influence an MP